All right, that concludes our public speakers. So we'll move to council. Our first speaker is Councilman Bare.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, I want to say, as a veteran who served in a war zone and Army officer, I know responsibility cannot be delegated. Council is responsible for passing ordinances, resolutions, approving budget plans, items, and the mayor is responsible for implementing those things. I went back and watched the video from when we approved the acceptance of the $5.8 million, and after the item was read by the then Council Vice President Moore, sorry, Councilman Jones was not there for that meeting, he was Council President, so Councilman Moore was filling in for him. The mayor said, $6.1 million to fix sadly damaged homes for people in our most vulnerable state is a huge, huge win for us. Huge, huge, not just one huge. And I agree with that. It was a huge win. He went on to say that it's going to take us a little bit of time to get this stood up. Doesn't mean we'll start working on houses tomorrow. There's some work to be done before we can. We're working on a proper rollout. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been 20 months since he said that, and we are still waiting for a proper rollout. After the mayor's comments, I said, it's about time we got this money. Government works slowly. This has been a need throughout our city and county. This is something we definitely need. The faster we get it rolled out, the better. I know there are people who are still suffering from Sally. It's hard to believe it was almost 4 years ago, definitely necessary, and I thank the mayor and the staff for working on this. That was a little premature, I think. After me, Councilwoman Bare asked about the source of the funds, and then Interim Housing Director Meredith Reeves confirmed it was a $250,000 match. She was asking about the match. $250,000 of ARPA funding, which is Rescue Plan Act funding, designated for housing repairs. So we took $250,000 designated for housing repairs and we used it as the match for this. So we basically took housing repair money and put it in this and have not spent it. At least maybe we still can get the $250 back, but ARPA's time is limited, so I'm not sure. Finally, then Council Vice President Moore asked about the timeline. And according to then Interim Housing Director Meredith Reeves, the city would provide an application. Her best guess was that they would start taking applications in late August or September of 2024. She encouraged people to call the department to get on the waiting list. She said people that are on the wait list for housing repairs already would probably qualify for this funding. The council memorandum projected 50 homeowners could be assisted. Only 50, and that's still a good number. And based on the information, the council voted 6-0 to pass it. The contract signed between the mayor and the Department of Commerce had a revision date of 9/1/2023. So that contract was ready in September of 2023. The mayor's name was printed on it. It was not signed, of course, until after the May 2024 meeting. The 2023 date probably accounts for the reason the 2023 was mentioned on Monday as the date, because that's when we could have approved it, but it didn't move through the process. Despite the fact that we're criticized as council as not moving things forward, in this case, it was the administration that did not move it forward quickly enough. The city was aware that the contract long before it passed in 2024. In fact, the attorney's final review was in January of 2024. And in other words, a significant amount of time passed before it ever came to council, when the city had the ability to review, comprehend, and plan for the rollout of this program. According to the contract, eligible project activities include single-family housing rehabilitation and repair, manufactured housing repair replacement, housing construction, hazard mitigation, elevation, demolition clearance, temporary relocation, and other activities associated with housing recovery, to include title clearance services, which would provide legal support to people to achieve clear title on their property, which is an ongoing issue in the city of Pensacola. The primary objective of this program was to address unmet housing needs and support the long-term recovery and restoration of housing for low to moderate income households, and so not just low, but moderate as well, and incorporate resiliency improvements to protect households from further storms. That's a lot of possibilities for our residents, and definitely some opportunities not offered by other funding mechanisms. I can guarantee you that the money we put out there for housing for CRA does not address all of those issues. This is a unique fund. According to the contract, within 30 days of execution, the city needed to provide both a project budget and activity work plan with a timeline for implementation. And we're also supposed to provide regular monthly and quarterly reports. I wonder if this was ever done. The mayor has mentioned the onerous issues involved with these funds, including environmental reviews and homeowners not being able to select their own contractor. We should have reviewed those and assessed whether we could do it before we accepted the funds. There are needs, and we have ignored them. We shouldn't have accepted the funds if we couldn't use them. I'm not a part of the Florida Commerce Department. I don't have unfettered access to staff, but I know that we accepted funds to help homeowners with damage after Hurricane Sally, and we've never made any attempt to use that for that purpose. If citizens reached out, as former interim housing director Reeves asked them to, I wonder what we told them. Citizens were impacted negatively by a natural disaster. We accepted funds to help them. After making no attempt to do so, we are now using these funds for another purpose. While it is legal, it isn't what's best for our citizens. I will not be supporting this bait and switch. Yet again, I'm embarrassed to be a council member who voted to help the citizens of our city, only to see the city fail to follow through on its commitment and reroute these funds to another location. So I agree. It's hard to trust us at this point. It's actions like these that make people question our spending decisions and need for their valuable tax dollars. Well, these weren't property tax dollars. They were revenue provided to the city for a specific purpose, and our failure to use them for that purpose has encouraged our constituents to doubt our ability to expend resources on their behalf. I'm obviously not supporting this tonight, and it was a huge failure on our part as a city to not implement these funds, and I hope my fellow council members would join me in rejecting this. Thank you.
Our next speaker